running too.
So we are live on YouTube, but we have 2 minutes technically until 5 o'clock, according to my handy dandy computer clock.
Yep.
So.
How's everybody?
Good. Knock on wood.
This is my first of what, 5 tonight.
No.
How did everything go, Larry?
It didn't.
Oh, okay.
I go in to do the right eye and they want to do the left eye. That's where it started.
Oh boy, that's not good.
They had it completely messed up.
Oh.
And I started telling them, I go, we're not like rotating tires here. like you got to get this right. The paperwork was completely wrong. Everything I signed, all the authorizations were all for the right eye. They're all set up to do the left eye. And they both have to be done at some point, but you know, you had to do drops in your right eye for 3 days prior to this. But then he says, do you want me to do the left eye today? I go, well, I guess I didn't have to do those drops for 3 days then, huh?
Oh, boy.
Completely messed up.
Okay. I'm not going to cut you off, but we are.
No, I want you to.
Yeah, we are live streaming. We are live streaming, and it is 5 o'clock. So I'm going to call the meeting to order for the Westfield Public Safety Communications Commission meeting as of Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. So roll call is first Commissioner Emmings.
Yes.
Chief Egloff,
Yes.
Chief Valier,
Here.
Commissioner Coles,
Here.
and Commissioner Bernash. I am here. So I'll open it up for any public comment, but seeing that there's no one from the public on our Zoom call, and do we have any letters or anything that we have to refer from the public? Nothing? Okay, no public comment. Next on the agenda is approval of last meeting minutes, November 10th, 2021.
The motion to approve the minutes of November 10th.
I'll second it.
Okay, made and seconded. We're virtual again. We have to do roll call. So Commissioner Coles,
Yes.
Commissioner Emmings,
Yes.
Chief Egloff,
Yes.
Chief Valier,
Yes.
and myself, Commissioner Bernash. Yes. All set. New business, per diem pay rate.
Okay, so I am coming to you, commissioners, to ask if we can, if you guys can do a vote to raise the per diem dispatcher pay rate from $20 an hour to a higher rate, although I do have a proposal. So just some history. And also I did reach out to personnel and the mayor, and I got a written response back from personnel saying that he was in favor of raising it. And I got a couple of questions from the mayor, which I answered, and I did not get an answer, but to me, it sounded like he was in support of it, but I'm not going to speak for him. That wasn't, he didn't specifically say that. So when I started in 2018, the dispatchers, the per diem dispatchers were making $16 an hour. We then raised that to $20 an hour in the beginning of 2019. So at that point, I had 1 per diem dispatcher on staff. And right now I will have 3. So Jen Bine is the per diem who's been working there since the beginning of 2018. She picks up a ton of shifts. I have another per diem who is in training right now. He is a full-time Springfield dispatcher. So he's in training. He should be off of training, I would say, in the next month. And then I was going to cover this during my update and staffing, but I did have a full-time dispatcher resign, and he is in good standing, and I offered him to stay on per diem, which he has accepted. So I actually think I need to get a vote from you guys on that as well. So I'm just going to, so the full-time dispatcher is Jason Menaker. He was working on the second shift. He's now working on day shift. He gave us 2 weeks resignation. He will be So he will be, I think his last day is Sunday, the 23rd. So if we can vote on him being a per diem. But anyway, so back to the pay rate. I think when I had first brought this up back in 2019 to raise this, someone had suggested that we put it so it ties into the full-time dispatcher's wage scale. And I don't know why we didn't go with it at that time. We just raised it the $4 from $16 to $20 an hour, which is fine. But now the dispatchers have gotten several contractual raises. They've gotten another MOA for taking on Southwick. So the dispatchers higher starting rate is $20.64. So already they've surpassed the per diem dispatcher. And I am hoping to propose that we tie it to the step 4, which is a 3-year dispatcher, which is that's at 23. I thought I had this written down somewhere, 2384. Where did I write that? 2382. So that's my proposal, is to raise it from the $20 an hour to making it match the step 4 pay rate, which right now is at 2382. And anytime that gets raised, so doesn't the per diem. So we don't have to keep coming back to this.
Nina, is this Chief Egloff here? Is this in our purview? Can we make this decision, or does it have to go through collective bargaining?
So it does not have to go through collective bargaining. It needs to be an MOA that is written and signed by the city and the dispatchers union. So this is kind of one of the first steps. Really, first step was to talk to personnel and the mayor to make sure that they were in support of it, and then come to you guys to vote that you guys approve it. And then I would, as long as personnel definitely is okay with it and the mayor is okay with it, then an MOA will be drafted and signed.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions about that?
Yes, is your budget good for this?
I'm sorry. My children are upstairs. I need to mute myself for 1 second. Sorry.
Okay.
I heard arguing.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So yes, my budget can cover it right now. I've gotten several grant reimbursements, which has replenished the per diem budget, as well as I have money in my overtime budget I can transfer if need be. Quite honestly, for a full year, it's only going to be about a $5,000 difference.
I have to ask.
Also, I wanted to just let you know that I did do some research into other agencies, and it seems as though 23 would be in between everything that I found. So like Metro North Rec, which is a regional center, they pay their full-timers a step 3. I'm sorry, their per diems a full-timer step 3, which is $21.37. South Worcester Com pays $22.42 for working a midnight shift, $21.42 for working a day shift. Southeastern Regional pays $25 an hour. Wilbraham pays $21. Northampton, which is not a regional, pays $25 an hour, and Greenfield, which is not regional, pays $23 an hour.
Any number out of Chicopee?
I don't believe they have per diems.
Okay.
So the step 4 rate that you have there is consistent with the $23 an hour and change. Let's put it that way, and change.
That's what the pay is right now.
Okay.
So, and we are in negotiations, or will be going into negotiations with the dispatchers union. So that could get raised. That could get raised 2%, whatever they negotiate.
Okay.
One other question.
Yep, sure.
Is there an hourly cap for per diems over some amount of time?
No, no. I actually thought there was, but I haven't found that in the contract anywhere that there was a cap, although even still, even Jen Vine works a lot of shifts and she doesn't really come close to meeting that cap. But anyway, I would, at that point, I feel as though if it were just in the union contract, we need the help so badly that that I know the union wouldn't agree with that. So in fiscal year 21, she picked up 840 hours for the year. She's slated to probably work about anywhere between 900 to 1,000 hours in fiscal year 22. And then I have 2 other per diems who would be helping out as well. I just was kind of fidgeting with my budget numbers today for the salaries, and it's looking like even if we do raise it to the 2382, it's still a $10,000 savings in my overtime budget, which isn't huge, but having per diems work 1,000 hours in a year is still $10,000 I'm saving in my overtime budget.
Not to mention the stress on your existing staff.
Yep, burnout, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just thinking around a situation where it would be, where somebody is a per diem could theoretically make more money than someone who's a junior dispatcher, because we're moving them in there without an hourly cap. Even if that hourly cap is as high as 1,200, it prevents that potential awkwardness.
Yeah, I know that that's always been a question, but also my full-time dispatchers get a benefits package. They have forced overtime, voluntary overtime. And my Jen Vine, the one per diem, she has 25 years of dispatch experience. So her sitting in that seat is bringing a ton of knowledge and experience to my dispatch center, as well as she's approaching 4 years there. The one in training is working full-time in Springfield. So his knowledge is even different than any of my dispatchers' knowledge. Which is a benefit to us. Also, the dispatcher who's resigned, he was approaching 3 years on. He was a trainer for the center. So these per diems aren't coming in just to kind of fill a shift, hoping that nothing happens. They're absolutely the top-notch employees that I would want filling those shifts. So that's my argument for the higher rate than, the people who've just started and are still in training.
Well, and you also said it too, Nina, that the full-time employees are full-time employees and get full-time employee benefits, whereas the per diems are part-timers. They do not get those employee benefits, which has a benefit of its own, right, that you can't apply to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they've never, so a full-timer works 77 hours bi-weekly. My per diems haven't even come close to that. Maybe 50 is the highest that I've seen in a pay period. But that's during when we've been short-staffed and summer vacations.
Okay.
It's good to have that all read into the record. The only concern is that we're making a structural change that would apply to anybody in the future if, well, I'll take us up to when regionalization takes it over. But we have to make this work for the people there and the people that may come who may not be this talented.
True. Yes. I will say that this is the first time I'm training a new person coming in as a per diem. And it's going very smoothly, although I don't know if I'm going to do that again, just because it is, even though he's an experienced dispatcher, it's taking a lot of time to get him in, to get trained in all of our policies and procedures. So it's, to me, if I have a really good employee that I have offered to stay per diem and they want to do that, I would prefer doing that. So. And honestly, when I do hire out for per diems, I don't take anything. I don't take anyone who doesn't have less than 2 years experience in a dispatch center.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion about this per diem pay rate then.
Make a motion to tie the per diem pay rate to level 3 salary in the regular contract.
Was
So-
it three or four?
Four.
Step 4.
I'm sorry,
Four.
level 4? Okay, to level 4 in the regular contract.
I second that.
Okay, the motion's made and seconded. It's on the table to set the per diem pay rate at the step 4 of the dispatch salary contract going forward. Commissioner Coles, hang.
Yes.
Commissioner Emmings,
Yes.
Chief Valier,
Yes. Excuse me, yes.
Chief Egloff,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bernash, yes.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. And I know that's going to incentivize them to pick up shifts and definitely want to come in to help. So I very much appreciate that.
And this is all contingent upon the final approval by personnel and the mayor. Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you. The next new business is in
Speaking of the mayor, sorry.
So under new business, can we vote on the full-time dispatcher staying on per diem?
Can I get a motion about that?
That's for
So
Jason
moved.
Menaker.
Jason
Yes.
Menaker, yep. So I don't know if anyone wants background. He was hired. Again, I think he was approaching his 3-year mark. He is leaving to pursue a career in insurance, citing that it's a better schedule, better pay. He's leaving us with a vacancy in our training program. He was one of our trainers. Fantastic dispatcher, fantastic coworker, really good work ethic. I'm the one who suggested he stay on per diem.
So is there a motion to,
I'll make the motion to allow Jason Menaker to continue with with dispatch as a provisional dispatch or per diem dispatcher.
Seconded.
okay, motion's made and seconded. Commissioner Coles,
Yes.
Commissioner Emmings,
Yes.
Chief Valier,
Yes.
Chief Egloff,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bernash, yes. So congratulations to Jason.
Fantastic, thank you.
All righty, next on the agenda is old business.
No old business.
And next would be director's update.
Okay. Okay, so text to 911 silent call procedure education. I'm sure, I know the police and fire department has received a packet. But so I sent out to all city departments a packet with some informational cards about the text to 911 starting up in Massachusetts, and it's active, and how to use it and what to expect. Also silent call procedure. So if someone were in an emergency situation, they had to call or make contact with 911, but they couldn't speak because of whatever situation they are in. The dispatchers have a procedure to follow for that type of situation. So it's an informational card that I have asked all city departments to place in a public or at least even a highly trafficked area for employees, so that they can see it and they're aware of those two features with 911. So I sent those out. I'm actually expecting more to come in through the state 911 department so I can reach every city department as well as the schools. And then so Tina Gorman from Council on Aging actually had gotten that packet and had asked if I could do an interview bit with Harry Rock on the Westfield's Council on Aging Presents. So I am looking to schedule a filming with Peter and Harry sometime this month to have it air on Tuesdays in February. Does anyone have any objection to that before I actually go through with it? Okay.
I think it's great.
Okay, good. Fantastic. I think it's good too. I think that a lot of people don't know that text to 911 in Massachusetts is available. And especially for older adults, they would not know probably not know how to use it. So I think it's great too. Site file maintenance for the database in IMC, we're doing updates now. So all city businesses are getting letters and emergency contact forms mailed out to them. We're about a third of the way through, and we've done this. We did this 2 years back. And again, we're touching all the businesses because we feel like every other year we should at least get that message out there that we need new updated contacts for people. So that's going out. Back to center staffing. So I have the one resignation. I still have not filled Christine Gustafson's open position. But since that position was posted, I had gotten 3 candidates. I will tell you that one candidate was called. I could not reach her. Her mailbox was full. Every time I called, she didn't answer. So I left that be. A second candidate had said that, and I'm using her words, but the schedule for a dispatcher is bogus. So she said, no, thank you. And the third candidate was a Southwick dispatcher, a part-time Southwick dispatcher, which was, I thought, fantastic. That would be a great transitional move on our part to hire someone coming over from Southwick when we regionalize. But she ended up taking a very high-paying dispatcher position in Connecticut. So after I kind of went through those candidates, personnel helped me out and posted the job on Indeed. And in 3 days, I was able to get 7 candidates. So I'm sifting through those right now, and I am looking to hire 2 full-time positions at the same time in order to train them at the same time so that we can get them on shift. I will then still have 1 additional open position because of the regionalization project, which I hope to hire, I would say May or June. So at least if someone doesn't work out through training or the hiring process takes a little bit longer, that I can at least get someone trained and on shift for fall.
Okay.
All right. Also, so regionalization. We are working on the radio project still. That is an ongoing, very cumbersome project. Tammy has already put it out to a couple of vendors. We didn't hear anything back besides the original quoting vendor. But since then, we realized that that quote that they provided us still doesn't fit our needs and Southwick's needs. So she's actually going to put out a formal RFP or RFQ. And we're going to leave it open for 30 days in hopes that we do have a vendor that comes in with kind of a whole turnkey system that we don't have to worry too much about any extra costs to get this radio project up and running for the regional project. So I've already asked for an extension on my development grant for this time around to put the $800,000 toward next fiscal year to pay for the whole radio project in its entirety. The fiber project is still being finalized. I'm still waiting on an invoice to pay that. But so for the radio and the fiber, that is my whole development grant for this fiscal year. Next fiscal year, or this one coming up for fiscal year 23, that's already out. I'm working on the application now, and that's due on March 3rd. So I hope to put everything in there that I put in last time that wasn't awarded. I hope to put all that back in, and fingers crossed, we'll get that. Also for regionalization, Southwick is a little concerned that they are dropping in staffing already because they realize that the dispatchers are realizing that either they stay on to the end and they're going to negotiate a kind of a severance package, or they're going to go find jobs. And I think that's kind of what's happening over there is I think more people than they expected are going to find new places to work now. So their center is dropping in staffing, and they aren't going to hire. There's no sense in it because also there's going to be nobody who's going to want to take that job knowing they're going to be closing their doors anytime within the next 12 to 18 months. So they have actually asked, and now I'm skipping down on my list anyway, but they have asked that if any of my full-timers would want to work per diem over there to kind of get a feel for their dispatch operations, bring back knowledge to our center for the transition, and also help them out with staffing. So I put that out to the group. I do have 2 dispatchers who would like to work per diem over there, as well as myself, but I would probably be going over there during daytime hours to kind of sit and learn what they do, so that I can bring the knowledge back. If I can help out for like a 4-hour shift on off hours, I will help them out with that. I know lead dispatcher Hartman said the same thing. So we're trying to help them out with staffing and trying to think creatively on how to do that for them. The other thing is knowing that if their staffing drops critically, we may have to somehow take their dispatch operations, whether it's going to be a hybrid model, whether if they start rolling their 911 traffic over on the nighttime, on the overnight hours, or if we completely have to cut over quickly. We have asked Goosetown, which is our radio vendor, to come in and quote us some control stations so that we have radio communication with Southwick if we need to turn that on at any point. So that's all.
You might already have that, because I thought we programmed that functionality into the control stations that are already there.
So we have, it looks like on our consoles, we have the ability, it looks like we have the ability, although we've tried it multiple times and we're unable to speak with them.
Okay. The other problem is I ran into an unintended problem, Lenore, because the webinar is under the PEG admin account. I can't start the city council meeting.
Uh-oh. So if you drop off, I should still stay the host. Oh,
Yeah, but I'll see if it'll let me start. It might or it might not.
okay,
I'm going to find out in a second.
okay.
I think it's just going to let me end. It won't even let me drop out.
It won't let you just make me regular host.
All right, let me give it a shot.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You may still have to drop off. So I'm just
Yep.
giving heads up. Whew. Okay. Let me see if I can start the recording again. Okay.
Fantastic.
So we were talking about Southwick. We were talking about the dispatchers potentially doing per diem work over there. Would there be any interest from the Southwick dispatchers to do per diem with us as well? If
So we did talk about that, although it does not seem as though there's a want for that.
okay.
Unfortunately. So any questions about regionalization? Bye, Mayor. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining us, Mayor.
Again, I feel like I talk about it so often.
Just on your next item about when the governance and will move to a different group.
Yeah, so I asked, I did follow up, because the last meeting we had talked about this too, and I said I was gonna follow up with Shanna, which I did. She said that this board, this commission cannot dissolve until there's a city ordinance change. This ordinance falls under the fire department ordinance. Is that right, Chief?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yes,
So
it does.
Yeah, so that needs to be a change before we can dissolve this commission. And she said, quite honestly, if there's not a change, that these two would be running in tandem, the executive board and this. And I think we all can agree that that's probably not needed, especially with the chiefs, because the chiefs are going to have to be on the executive board. So I also think that it makes it very strange because of just the way my department is set up and who's going to oversee my department. The commission right now oversees my department, yet they wouldn't with Southwick. So I'm still very unclear about that and why that would happen. But I have confidence that with the new mayor, I can have a discussion with him about prompting that change. I know I've already kind of put it on his desk.
The new mayor has made an effort to deal with any unfilled positions or unrenewed positions. You know, I'm not renewed at this point. But last year, when you said we weren't continuing on, I wasn't in a rush to get paperwork into Don because it didn't sound like we we're going to be around much longer.
Yeah. Yep. I can understand that. So that's where we sit. I will continue to have those conversations with the mayor and do whatever I can. I'll help out in any way to get that rolling. But in the meantime, especially for my staffing, I will be hiring, hopefully doing interviews at the very latest, the first week of February. So I would like to get a commission meeting, a special meeting together for February to do the hiring process.
Okay.
And that's all I have for my update, unless anyone has questions or comments.
I think you're doing a great job, Nina. I think your dispatchers are doing a great job, especially in these times, and I appreciate them very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying so.
Yes. Thank
you.
Okay, so then I guess barring a special meeting in February for potential hiring, our next meeting is scheduled for March 9th.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So our next meeting is scheduled for, let's just say our next meeting is scheduled for March 9th, 5 o'clock, probably still via video.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else that is not on the agenda that could not have been foreseen? That being said,
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
made and seconded to adjourn. Unfortunately, we have to do roll call because we're on video. Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Chief Valier,
Yes.
Chief Egloff,
Yes.
Chief Bernash, myself, yes. And make note that Commissioner Coles left prior to item 7, I would say 7E,
Yes.
which was the per diems in Southwick.
Yep. Very good.
Okay. All right. I think that's everything then.
Have a great night.
Good night,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.